December 25, 2024. Christmas Day. The air was crisp and cold with a gentle snowfall blanketing the city of Baku. The festive spirit was palpable, as the airport was adorned with twinkling lights and Christmas decorations. A day for happiness, family, and celebration. Across the world, people were gathering with loved ones, exchanging gifts, and sharing warm embraces. The joy of the season was in full swing. At Haidar Aliyev International Airport in Baku, Azerbaijan, the hustle and bustle of holiday travel was in full effect. Flight J2-8243 was getting ready to take off, with passengers eagerly anticipating their journey. The destination was Aktau, Kazakhstan. A routine flight, just a short hop over the Caspian Sea. For many, it was a chance to reunite with family and friends, to continue the celebrations in a new place. The Caspian Sea, vast and serene, lay between the two cities. The flight was expected to be smooth and uneventful, a mere formality in the grand scheme of the holiday season. But beneath the surface of this seemingly ordinary day, there was an undercurrent of tension. Some travelers couldn't shake a feeling of unease, as if sensing that something was amiss. Families boarded the plane, their excitement palpable. Children clutched their favorite toys while parents juggled bags and boarding passes. The anticipation of the journey ahead filled the air. Kids looked out the windows, their faces pressed against the cold glass. They marveled at the snowy landscape outside, their imaginations running wild with thoughts of Santa's sleigh and reindeer. Inside the plane, the festive atmosphere continued. Christmas music played softly, creating a cozy and cheerful ambiance. Passengers settled into their seats, some humming along to familiar carols. The flight crew, dressed in festive attire with Christmas hats, greeted each passenger with warm smiles and holiday wishes. Their cheerful demeanor added to the sense of joy and celebration. Flight J2-8243 moved to the runway, ready to leave. The engines roared to life, and the plane began its journey down the snowy tarmac. Little did anyone know, this Christmas Day departure would be unlike any other. Inside the plane, it felt like a party. Shiny decorations hung from above. Flight attendants wearing Santa hats smiled and gave out Christmas treats. Passengers chatted and laughed. Some told stories about past Christmases, others about their holiday plans. The flight was smooth. The sun shone on the Caspian Sea, making it look beautiful. Passengers looked out the windows, enjoying the view. Some took pictures. The flight crew made announcements in calm voices. Everything seemed perfect. But without anyone on board knowing, the weather was changing. The clear winter day turned dark. Dark clouds filled the sky, making a scary shadow over the Caspian Sea. The wind started blowing hard, shaking the plane. Bumps and shakes made some people nervous. The pilot's voice, now serious, came over the speakers. He said the bumps were normal, but everyone started to feel uneasy. The happy mood disappeared. The laughter stopped. Outside, the storm got worse, just like the worry inside the plane. Suddenly, the plane jolted. There was a loud bang. The plane shook hard. Passengers held on tight, their faces full of fear. The lights flickered. Then, silence. A scary silence, with only the sound of the wind outside. The pilot's voice, strained and urgent, broke the silence. He said a bird had hit the plane and an engine wasn't working. He said they were making an emergency landing. But his words didn't help calm the growing panic. The word Mayday came over the radio, making everyone scared. Section 5, crash landing near Aktau. The plane went down fast, tossed around by the wind. The ground came closer and closer. Passengers screamed, prayed, and held their loved ones close. The flight attendants, their faces pale but calm, repeated safety instructions. The plane was full of chaos and fear. With a loud, terrible screeching sound, the plane crashed in a snowy field near Aktau. Bags flew everywhere, people screamed. Then, silence again, a silence even scarier than the chaos before. Section 6, Aftermath and Rescue Operations. Right after the crash, everything was a blur. Rescue workers rushed to the crash site. They found the plane, a broken mess, in the snow. The smell of jet fuel filled the air, mixed with the smell of snow and fear. Rescue workers, serious but determined, worked hard. They cut through twisted metal, pulled people out of the wreckage, and took the injured to ambulances. The white snow was now red with blood and covered in debris. The air felt heavy with sadness. Section 7, Hope and Despair. News of the crash spread quickly. Families, worried and scared, gathered around TVs and radios, hoping for any news. Hope and despair mixed together as they waited. At the hospitals in Aktau, it was chaotic. Doctors and nurses worked hard to help the injured. Families paced the hallways, their hope fading with every hour. Some people hugged, crying with relief. Others got the worst news, their cries of sadness echoing through the hospital. Section 8. Investigation and Questions. This section delves into the aftermath of the tragic event that shook the world. The questions that arose were numerous, and the need for answers was urgent. Families, friends, and the general public were desperate to understand what had happened and why. The investigation was not just a procedural necessity, but a quest for truth and closure. After the tragedy, an investigation started. The scene was chaotic, with emergency vehicles and investigators arriving at the crash site. The first responders worked tirelessly to secure the area and begin the painstaking process of gathering evidence. The initial hours were crucial, as every piece of information could be vital in piecing together the events that led to the disaster. Experts looked through the wreckage for clues. They meticulously examined every fragment of the aircraft, searching for any signs that could indicate what went wrong. The debris was scattered over a wide area, making the task even more challenging. Each piece of wreckage was cataloged and analyzed, with experts looking for patterns or anomalies that could provide insights. The black boxes were found, and the information inside was carefully studied. These devices, designed to withstand extreme conditions, held the key to understanding the final moments of the flight. Technicians worked round the clock to extract and interpret the data, hoping it would shed light on the sequence of events and the possible causes of the crash. The investigation, long and difficult, tried to answer the question everyone had. Why? Was it the bird? Was it the weather? The team of investigators, comprising experts from various fields, held numerous meetings to discuss their findings. They considered multiple hypotheses, each requiring thorough examination and validation. The process was exhaustive, but the goal was clear: to uncover the truth. Was it something wrong with the plane? The mechanical aspects of the aircraft were scrutinized in detail. Engineers and mechanics inspected the damaged components, looking for any signs of malfunction or failure. They analyzed the maintenance records and the history of the aircraft, trying to determine if there were any overlooked issues that could have contributed to the tragedy. Or was it everything together, a perfect storm that caused this Christmas Day tragedy? The possibility of multiple factors converging to create a catastrophic event was also considered. Simulations were run to understand how severe weather conditions, combined with other potential hazards like bird strikes, could have impacted the flight. The complexity of the situation made it clear that there might not be a single cause, but a combination of unfortunate circumstances. The answers, when they came, wouldn't help those who lost loved ones very much. The grief of the families was immeasurable, and no explanation could bring back their loved ones. Memorials were held, and communities came together to support those affected. The emotional toll was profound, and the need for closure was as much about emotional healing as it was about understanding the technical aspects of the crash. But they might prevent something like this from happening again. The findings of the investigation led to new safety measures being implemented in the aviation industry. Lessons were learned, and steps were taken to ensure that such a tragedy would not be repeated. The hope was that through these efforts, future flights would be safer, and the legacy of those lost would be honored by preventing similar disasters. Section 9. Remembering J2-8243. The crash of Flight J2-8243 was a tragedy that shook us all to our core. It was a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the unpredictable nature of our existence. On that fateful Christmas Day, families were torn apart and communities were left in mourning. The pain and sorrow felt by those who lost loved ones is immeasurable, and our hearts go out to them. The crash of Flight J2-8243 reminds us that life is precious. It serves as a poignant reminder to cherish every moment we have with our loved ones. In the blink of an eye, everything can change, and we are left with memories and a longing for what once was. The families and friends of the victims gather to honor their memory, to share stories, and to find solace in each other's company. It reminds us that even during happy times, sad things can happen. The holiday season, a time usually filled with joy and celebration, was marred by this devastating event. Yet in the midst of sorrow, there is a sense of unity and support. Communities come together offering a shoulder to cry on and a hand to hold. The strength and resilience of the human spirit shine through in these dark times, and it reminds us to cherish every moment with our loved ones. The memories we create with them become our most treasured possessions. As we gather to remember those we lost, we are reminded of the importance of love, compassion, and togetherness. These moments of connection are what sustain us through the toughest times. As the investigation continues, we will remember those who died on that terrible Christmas day. The search for answers is ongoing, and we hope that it will bring some measure of closure to the grieving families. The dedication and hard work of the investigators are crucial in understanding what happened and preventing such tragedies in the future. We will remember them in our hearts, forever etched in our memories. Their lives, though cut short, had a profound impact on those who knew and loved them. The legacy they leave behind is one of love, kindness, and the indomitable human spirit. And we will remember the lessons we learned from this heartbreaking event. It is a stark reminder of the importance of safety and vigilance. We must strive to ensure that such a tragedy never happens again. The memories of those we lost will guide us in our efforts to make the world a safer place. Let us remember J2-8243 not for the crash but for the lives that were lived, the love that was shared, and the memories that were made. Each victim had a story, a life full of dreams, hopes, and aspirations. They were mothers, fathers, sons, daughters, friends, and colleagues. Their absence is deeply felt, but their spirit lives on in the hearts of those who loved them. But for the people we lost and how important it is to make flying safer, the lessons learned from this tragedy will help improve aviation safety standards and ensure that future flights are safer for everyone. We owe it to the victims and their families to make sure that their loss was not in vain. As we move forward, let us carry the memory of J2-8243 with us, honoring the lives lost and working tirelessly to prevent such tragedies in the future. Together, we can make a difference and ensure that the skies are safer for all.